Some police officers using their powers to frustrate a citizen in favor of another citizen, to me, is going against the rules of engagement. The alert today is on a property situated in one of the biggest cities in Africa, wherein two prominent figures are fighting over the ownership of the property. One claims he's been in that property for over 15 years without any problem until now. The other claims ownership to the same property. One of the parties, Alhaji Abubakar, already petitioned the Police Service Commission seeking investigation into the roles of some police officers, and the Police Service Commission has promised to look into the matter without fear or favor. Good day and welcome to Encumbered Properties Red Alert. I am Rex Chinedu Agoawuike, your host. On this show, we bring you details of encumbered properties, disputed properties, or properties that are for any reason not available for sale, to help you make informed real estate decisions. Remember, the safety of your real estate investment is our priority. Information available to encumberedproperties.com says, the chairman of the Police Service Commission, DIG Hashimu Argungu, has written to the Inspector General of Police demanding urgent and thorough investigations into the activities and roles of some police officers attached to the Zone 7 Police Command. The chairman of the Police Service Commission, DIG Hashimu Argungu, has requested the Inspector General of Police to set up a competent committee to investigate the roles of the officer in charge of Lego Unit and the Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations in the zone for abuse of office, extortion, and gross misconduct, contrary to the rules of engagement of the Nigerian police force. What happened exactly? The Police Service Commission says it received a petition for one Alhaji Yahya Abubakar against two police officers of the Zone 7 Command who were involved in a land dispute. This has generated a lot of controversy in the Police Service Commission, and the chairman of the commission has vowed to sanitize the system so as to uphold the sanctity of the Nigerian police force. The petitioner alleges that the officers supervised and provided cover for the demolition of his property where he has lived in for over 15 years. The petitioner claimed that he has been in possession of the said property for over 15 years, developed the property, and has been living in there without any hindrance until now. This is purely a civil case which borders on land dispute between two prominent Nigerians who are fighting over the said property. One of the parties tried using some police officers in Zone 7 to silence the other party, who is not ready to back down. Reason he petitioned the chairman of the Police Service Commission, DIG Hashimu Argungu, to look into the matter. Information reaching us at the time of this report says the police authorities have already set up a committee to investigate the roles of the said police officers in the land dispute. How this matter turns out, only time will tell. The property which is at the center of this controversy is located at number 75 Lome Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Members of the public are by this notification advised to stay away from the property and not patronize any of the parties, lest you lose your investments. This is indeed a controversial issue that requires legal perspectives for better understanding. I have a special guest standing by to put us through. Please stay with us. We have a very senior police officer in the building, a property lawyer, and the founder Encumberedproperties.com, who will help us understand the legal implications of this case. His name is Mr. Madueke Enwere. He's our in-house lawyer. My pleasure to have you again.
Thank you, Rex.
I don't know, as a police officer, I would want you to tell us, to what extent are police officers allowed to meddle into land disputes? Because I believe land disputes are purely civil matters.
Well, thank you, Rex. This question is actually a very broad one.
Okay.
I want to lay the foundation by saying that generally, police officers are not allowed to determine ownership title.
Okay.
If what is in dispute has to do with police, come and help us determine who is the actual owner of this property or that property. Police doesn't have the jurisdiction, the authority to entertain such questions.
Okay.
Such questions are decided by the High Court of FCT or the state wherever the matter arose from. Then, if it has to do with customary title, you can begin to talk of customary courts. They can decide as well, look into such claims. Having said that, I must also emphasize that when you talk about land-related cases, trespass, somebody entering into another person's property without the person's consent, or staying into a person's property without the person's consent, is a criminal offense, and it is property-related offense.
Okay.
Police has jurisdiction to entertain such complaints.
Okay.
Where someone also complains of mischief in the South is called malicious damage.
Okay.
Mischief is willful destruction of some other person's property. And in most cases, who have to do with land. Probably you have interest in a particular land, you notice another person is building, you can probably decide to take the laws into your hands and destroy. The other person can complain against you for mischief. But the problem here is this: the courts wouldn't actually be able to, with finality, decide on the case of mischief if the title or the ownership question regarding that property is not decided.
Okay.
So you must be able to determine one way or the other who owns the property before you begin to charge someone for mischief.
Okay.
If, for instance, the property belongs to Mr. A and Mr. A demolishes a structure being raised by some other person, you can validly or successfully charge Mr. A for mischief. So it is actually dicey to that extent. And so, generally speaking, we have property-related offenses. We have communal crises, other crises, between two communities.
Yeah.
It could boil down into a criminal case. We've had issues or circumstances where murder was committed in defense of property. Like one of the news I listened to you regarding
Atedeka's family.
The Atedeka's family.
Where a man killed 3 family members and committed suicide
over
a land dispute.
So this is a case of murder. It's still property related. So for the fact that police is not allowed to meddle into land disputes, you won't also stop police from going ahead to investigate this case of murder. You understand? So if it has to do with who owns this property, no for police. But if it has to do with all these incidental crimes that has to do with property, yes, you have the right to protect your property, or defend your property. But you don't have the right to commit any offense in the course of protecting or possessing or exercising your right to ownership of a property.
But whichever way, the police is not allowed to meddle into land dispute unless invited by any of the parties.
Even if police is being invited, in what capacity? To investigate a crime committed? Fine, police will be involved. But with respect to the case at hand, let's narrow it down.
Here, the person said some police officer supervised the demolition of a part of his property.
I carefully listened to you when you were giving details of that case. I understand it has to do with execution of court order.
Right.
One of the parties in the case got a judgment in his favor, and he needed to execute. In other words, that the property belongs to him.
Right.
Although the other party, what's the name? Is it Mr. Abubakar?
Mr. Abubakar, yeah.
Is claiming that he has been in the property for 15 years,
Right.
does it mean that he's not aware of the judgment that the police officers and the court officials came to execute at number 75 Lome Crescent?
From his own explanation, it simply means he is not aware of the court judgment. Even if he is, I think he's not in agreement with the judgment.
Then did he appeal against the judgment? Did he apply, not only appealing, did he apply for stay of execution of the judgment that gave title over the property to the person that came for execution? If police provide security towards the execution of a court judgment, it does not amount to meddling into a civil matter that has to do with land.
Okay.
And I think that could be what exactly happened in this case. Well, you said police authorities from Encumberedproperties.com findings have set up a committee to look into the involvement of their personnel. I believe some of these issues will be raised and investigated thoroughly if it's actually a court order that they provided security for. To that extent, the police officers involved won't be liable by the end of the day.
Thank you so much for the insight, Mr. Madueke Enwere. You talked about this from the perspective, from the angle of a police officer. I would want you to look at it from this angle, as the founder in UnpackProperties.com. Where do you think this platform fits into this case? I mean, how can this platform help stop innocent people from falling victims to fraudulent activities in the real estate sector?
The question you asked, how can Encumberedproperties.com as a platform help prospective investors from falling victim of a similar circumstance, or buying into,
or whatever fraudulent activity in the real estate
fraudulent activities going on in the real estate? If not for the sake of making sure that members of the public don't fall victim of fraudulent activities going on in the real estate industry, you and I wouldn't be here now talking about number 75 Lome Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. And for the viewers watching us, probably this is the first time they're hearing that the property located at number 75 Lome Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, is a subject of dispute.
Someone might have invested in that property.
This conversation alone has put people on their sixth senses, so that if anybody brings anything that has to do with purchase of the property located at this particular address, the person will be wary. So by this discussion we are having, we have already alerted people who would have possibly fallen victim, either fraudulently or mistakenly, buying into this property tomorrow without knowing the legal or the title status of the property. So generally, this platform brings to the members of the public, by this kind of discussion, properties that are encumbered or disputed, like in this particular case. By discussing it in this platform, by enlisting the details of the property at Encumberedproperties.com, people go there, view the details of such properties free of charge. And when they do that, they become aware that such properties listed there are flagged, not available for sale. And this will go a long way in making sure that nobody falls victim to fraudulent deals going on in the real estate sector, because people deliberately, some unscrupulous people, deliberately sell off properties that they foresee has title crisis, so that the new owner will now get into
the problem themselves.
Yes, so by this kind of discussion, you get alerted. We have it on daily basis. We upload such informations on daily basis on the platform and all through the social media handles of Encumberedproperties.com.
It's indeed an insightful conversation with Mr. Madueke Enwere. Like always, I truly do appreciate your presence.
Thank you, Rex.
My pleasure. Very well, my dear friend. Would you like to get real-time notifications about encumbered properties, disputed properties, or properties that for any reason not available for sale in your city of interest? Then subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends about us. Share this video today to save a life. Somebody you know out there might be ready to go invest in this disputed property. The best you could do for that person is to share this video for the person to stay updated and save his or her investment. Remember, the future of real estate investment lies in honesty. We have got to tell ourselves the truth, and that truth we bring to you on Encumbered Properties Red Alert. Stay safe and stay out of troubled properties. I am Rex Chinedu Agoawuike, thanking you for watching.